Hi everyone, I'm Daniela and welcome back to Black Cat Kitchen. Today we're making my Nonna's tuna pasta. In Italy, we celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve with the Feast of Seven Fishes. This pasta sauce has featured in every one of my Christmas Eve meals for my entire life. It just isn't Christmas without it. It's such an easy sauce to make and I look forward to it every year. So let's jump into the recipe.
You'll find a list of ingredients and measurements in the description below. Start by crushing or finely chopping 4 cloves of garlic. Now I know there's a rule when people say use this amount of garlic, you always add extra. I've already taken care of that for you. Finely chop about 2 small stalks of celery. I like to use the leafy inner bits because they have so much flavor and often are underused. They're perfect in this recipe. You want this chopped fine enough that it almost melts completely when you cook it. I'm using anchovy fillets that are packed in extra virgin olive oil. This is perfect because I'll use the olive oil to fry my garlic and celery. If you can't find anchovy fillets in olive oil, you can use anchovy paste, or I've even subbed in sardines in tomato sauce in this recipe. Just make sure to use a little bit of olive oil or some of the oil that's been drained away from the can of tuna. Drain the oil into the pan. You'll want about a tablespoon or 2. Turn it on to medium heat and add in 6 anchovy fillets. Mash up the anchovy and let them cook until they become almost like a paste. They'll completely melt away. Once they've completely broken down, add in your celery and garlic. Continue to cook this out until the celery wilts and the garlic is nicely toasted. Add in 2 teaspoons of tomato paste. My Nonna always used to add this at the end, but I prefer cooking it in at the beginning because I find it really helps develop that tomato flavor. Add in 2 jars of passata. I'm using about 1,300 grams. Give it a good stir.
You want to be sure to use tuna packed in oil, but drain the oil off before adding the tuna to the sauce.
Finally, add in 3 cans of your drained tuna. I like to leave mine as chunky as possible, so give it a really gentle stir.
Since we're using anchovies and tuna, that's 2 of your 7 fishes done.
Now, something to note is that the anchovies and the tuna are already very salty, so I don't really add any salt at this stage. I like to wait until it's simmered down and then add the salt at the end. Once your sauce just starts to bubble, turn the heat down to low and set the lid on a jar. You'll want to let this cook for at least an hour.
When I was a little girl, my mom used to make this on the morning of Christmas Eve. She would put it in the slow cooker and let it simmer away all day so that it was nice and thick by dinner time. Now, by the time we actually got to dinner, my mom usually had to add in an extra can or 2 of tuna because during the day, I would be sneaking out as much of that fish as I could while she wasn't looking. That's why I always start with an extra can.
After the hour, give it a taste and season with salt accordingly. Start with a teaspoon or 2 and continue tasting as you go. You can always add in more, but you can't take it out. We always serve this pasta with linguine, and I definitely like to pour some extra sauce all over the top. Sprinkle with freshly chopped parsley and grate a healthy serving of Parmesan cheese over the top. Buon appetito!
Thank you so much for watching. It's been such a joy to share my tradition with you, and I hope maybe you'll incorporate it into yours too. If you haven't baked your Christmas cookies yet, check out my 12 Days of Christmas Cookie playlist for inspiration. And make sure to subscribe because we have so many great videos coming up in the new year. From me and Gordon, Buon Natale, and we'll see you soon.